we can kick over to movies here. I have two. One of them, which will lead into what you've watched, Dan, because you've seen the movie twice. But before we get to that, I watched the Until Dawn movie, hit digital, and I decided I would take that bullet for us. And I actually walked away enjoying it, but it is. I understand the complaints about the movie. It reminds me, the best way I could describe it for like video game movies is it leans more Silent Hill movie than it does like Resident Evil movies. So the biggest shocking thing about it is how fucking violent it is. Like way more than the games are. It is like every time something happened, I was kind of shocked because it's one of those movies where like, okay, they're gonna smash this dude's head in with a sledgehammer. They're probably not gonna show. Oh, they showed that. Like it's one of those types. There's a part like, and it does. I think for what type of story they're trying to tell, it does a cool thing with like the way they can try and make this mechanic work in a movie makes sense because it wouldn't work in a movie where it works in a game. Where it's like, okay, we have all these different possible endings, but the story needs to keep going. So in the game, it's or in the movie, it's a like one of those what are they? The glass with the sand. What is that thing called? I don't know why I can't think of the word. Hourglass. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word. It's an hourglass that keeps churning.
With the sand. Yeah.
The glass with the sand. Yeah. It's an hourglass that keeps churning. So when it runs out, they'll all die, and then the whole like evening resets. But they keep going through various deaths. The one that was most shocking is they all decide at one point, hey, we're going to hide in this bathroom. Nothing can get us in this bathroom. And they're all just chilling in there until one of them decides, hey, I'm really thirsty. I'm going to take a drink of this water. Oh. And they all kind of pass the water around. And then they keep talking about like, oh, we'll just chill here. We're going to be able to beat this thing, and we're going to get through the night. And then the one kid, the first kid that drank the water is like, man, I don't really feel good right now. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just fucking explodes. And I'm like sitting here like, and when I say explodes, and Matt will know this, it is like that scene in The Monkey when that woman explodes. Like, it is shocking.
Wild.
And this like body parts go everywhere. And I just sat like, oh, wow. And then one by one, they all have to sit there like, oh, fuck, we're all going to explode. And they all like, not right away, but it's like various times. Like, it's stuff like that. It's kind of unique in that way. It is sloppy in parts too. The one other thing I'll say, and it's a very mild spoiler, so they do have a couple little Easter eggs throughout the movie that ties to the game, but the way that the movie ends after the story is over, they go back. There's like an end credit scene where they show cameras in this guy's office. One of the camera screens is the car pulling up while it's snowing. So it's like it's leading into the events of the game.
Yeah.
So you could take that as like maybe they think they're making a sequel, but I don't think that's going to happen. Or more likely it's just, hey, it ties into the game this way. So
either way, I mean, depending, like even if they don't do a sequel, you can kind of like premise this is what's going to happen as far as
absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
That's a smart idea.
The changes they made for what it is as a movie made sense to me, though. So, like, I enjoyed it. Like, I went in, like, watching the trailer and be like, this thing's going to be fucking garbage. And was shocked that I enjoyed it as much as I did. So, it was a 7 out of 10 for me. And I think it's worth a watch if you're a horror fan. But if you do not like gore, it is not for you. Because it really, some of it is shocking where I had to laugh because that's always my reaction at like over gore is like I laugh. So because it's ridiculous to me. And then the big movie of the week we've been waiting for, which seems like forever, is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, you have seen it twice.
Well, the only reason I saw it twice is because we were originally supposed to go the one day and then you couldn't go, so I was like, well, I'll go see it again. You can go. Yeah. So, and again, I don't have a problem with seeing it twice because the more I thought about it recently, the more I realized like this is probably my favorite movie franchise of something that's gotten, I would say, this many entries.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
over Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Because the more I think about Fast and Furious, the more I think about like 1 is really good, 2, 3, and 4 are fine. 5 is really good. 6 is really good. 7 is good, and then it's kind of tailed off again, kind of a thing. Whereas Mission Impossible, the really only real dip was 2. You know, like 1 is fantastic. 2 went in a different direction, but then starting with 3, it really built into something else.
Like it picks back up.
Yeah.
3 was the first one that had Simon Pegg in it, right?
Yeah, and that's Philip Seymour Hoffman, and that's like now that you've seen this movie, like it is a big like kickoff point for the whole rest of the franchise in terms of like what actually happened.
Yeah.
But then I loved how they in this one they touched on 1 a lot. They barely referenced 2. Great idea. Yeah, overall, overall, when it's over and said and done, and like, so the movie's 3 hours, and it definitely, I've said in the past, like, I don't care, I would love for it to be 4 or 5 hours. This kind of hits a point where you're like, okay, it's been 3 hours.
It is, like, I would say it's a movie that could have easily used like a good 20 to 25 minute edit, and it would have been great.
There's parts that could have been
parts that could have been cut. I'll say the first like 45 minutes of it are a mess. Like in terms of just what's going on, the conversations that they're having. There's one really weird like fight scene where he does everything off camera.
Yeah,
it's like supposed to be comedic, but it's kind of
it's a little like, funny, but then the reveal you're like, damn, weird. Kind of a thing.
Yeah, like that was kind of a weird scene. But then after you get past that like 45-minute hump, it really takes off.
You know what's weird is you're basically talking about everything before the title sequence.
Yeah,
the title sequence is deep into the movie.
Deep in the movie.
And
it's
then
like
after
a Departed
that,
type situation.
It kind of turns into what it's meant to be. Yeah, overall, like I will say it's good. It does a good job of, I would say, wrapping the entire thing up. Like there are no loose ends anymore. It is closed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the ending of it is kind of like anticlimactic. and kind
of ends like the rest of them.
Well,
where they just
and they made this whole thing about like it's called the Final Reckoning because it is final. Yeah. And with that, without a spoiler or anything, it's like it really could. You could make another one tomorrow if you wanted to. Like, but going forward, I think like Mission Impossible as a name is not dead. There's too much money in it and stuff, but the problem is replacing him is going to be impossible.
I think you have to give it a good decade.
It's got to be a long time. You're going to have to find the right person. There's going to be a lot to it, but like overall, it's good. If we're talking all 8 Mission Impossible movies, it's probably the 6th best one, which is kind of sad.
I feel so. What I think happened was it was Dead Reckoning Part 2. It got delayed a year because I think Tom Cruise decided like maybe I want to make this the last one.
This movie could have been 2
rewrites.
Yeah,
it could have. And so like I told you last night when it was over, like it very much is like Quantum of Solace.
Yeah.
Is the easiest way I can describe it. Like, I can't think of anybody going in this being their first Mission Impossible movie.
Literally, you
cannot pick it up. Yeah, it is not possible.
And honestly, I can't imagine anybody going in and only having seen the last one and this one. Because you can't anymore.
They call back to 3. They call back to... You
have to have seen Mission Impossible 1 to understand this. The references and stuff. You have to have seen the last... You have to have seen 7. You'd have to have seen 3 for sure. Part of 6, like it's so much.
There's like 3 callbacks in that movie, and I would say 2 of them are very well done, and one of them is like a callback / retcon.
That's a dumb one,
which we won't spoil.
Yeah,
we won't spoil what it is, but it's
unnecessary.
It's kind of messy.
It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
The other one like is incredible and done very well, and it gives closure to a plot line from the first fucking movie. But it does it in such a good way. And actually I saw some like interviews like on the red carpet with the guy, and like he was just like, I can't believe they fucking even called me. Which is so good.
Exactly.
Like overall it's fun. It's over. I feel like it needed another action sequence or 2.
That's the thing, too. There's only really 2 big action sequences in it. There's the submarine stuff, which is mostly good. It gets a little silly at the end of that sequence.
Yeah, just because.
But it's made up for by the plane. Because the plane is probably one of the best stunts he's ever done.
Fucking insane. And like, this isn't a spoiler because you've seen it in the trailers and stuff. There's one point where this motherfucker is flying a plane with his foot. Like trying to hang on to something else.
And then hop. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
man.
It is
insane. And to know that it's him doing this. Even like, oh, he's attached to the plane by a wire. Go fuck yourself. This dude is hanging upside down in a fucking plane. It is
so ridiculous. Yeah.
So good though. Like, I love these movies. I love what he's done for movies. We won't get into like who he is as a person, but like as a movie, as a movie star, you and I and Eric, like we joke about it, like he's the last true movie star. Because he just actually gives a shit about putting something out. Remember during COVID when they tried to leak that stuff where it's like, he's yelling at these people on set. He's yelling at people on set because they're not following safety guidelines.
Yeah,
because they're threatening the making of this movie.
The movie shut down.
He paid to make these movies.
This is
Tom
all
Cruise
him production.
Yes,
those credits come up. Yeah.
So like he I love the fact that he cares so damn much and like he wanted this to be the blockbuster movie that almost doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And he's trying super hard. Like, is it going to make enough money to pay back what it is? Probably not.
Well,
but at the end of the day, this man made 8 movies in this franchise over 30 years. And
I'd say 7 of them are really good. One of them is
well, not even that. It's like one of them's 2 of them are incredible.
Fallout is the best
the best one by far. It's so good. Far. The pacing in that movie, like the characters,
most easily watchable one.
You could watch that one in a vacuum. I think if you just want to watch one, you could watch that one. But like Ghost Protocol, very good. I love Dead Reckoning. I think that one. The problem I have with this movie is I don't think it holds up to the last one.
No,
because the last one really like set really high stakes early on. Had very good action sequences throughout it, and like that train thing at the end is fucking bonkers.
You also have to get over the silliness of the AI stuff.
You have to accept
it is kind of goofy. It is goofy, and like so. I'll ask you this question just because it was. I assume this is what they meant, but it is a little confusing. When the government is upset in this movie because if this thing happens or if they stop this thing from doing what it's going to do, it's going to shut down the internet forever.
It's so deeply entwined within the internet that if they kill it, it kills everything.
And see, I'm sitting here every time they think, and this is me being the chaotic person I am, but every time they're saying that, I'm sitting here like, man, what if we did that though?
No,
like what if we got rid of the internet?
No, man. If the internet turned off tomorrow, the world would be doomed. It'd be over.
It would be doomed. No, you're right. But like it's that.
Their logic behind it is it's so deeply entwined in everything that if they kill it, it kills everything. Yeah. And the only way they could stop that was they had to get it out before they could kill it.
Yeah, and it gets into like down to the milliseconds and whatever.
It's movie trope bullshit.
You have to go with it, but at the same time, that's what all of these.
I've also had to go with it for years, and it's been fine. I've had to go with it that he had a gum he could mush together and slap on a helicopter in a fucking train tunnel that he would then explode and propel him onto a moving train. It's fine.
Yeah,
the super secret AI, it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
It's fun. It's a fitting end. It's not the perfect end. It's a fitting end. And make another one in 10 years. Let's do it.
I'd like them now to come up with a good like 4K box set.
Yes. Now that it's over.
Now I will do it.
Now that it's over, I will buy the whole thing. And that's why I stopped
buying them after Rogue Nation.
Yeah, I'm so jaded about buying collections of stuff before it's over now. We talked about it. The Bond one fucked me, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I ever told you about this one, Matt, but I'll share this with everybody too. So when Bond made the 50th collector's edition, this was right before Skyfall, I think, had come out in theaters.
Yes.
So when you bought it, it had every movie up until Skyfall, but it was smart, and it and this is before we knew we were getting another one. They had or 2 more, I guess, right? Yeah, Spectre and No Time to Die. So at least if when Skyfall came out, you could have been complete up to that point. You would have had them all in a box.
Yeah.
But there were huge problems with that set, which can turn me off from doing this ever again. One was every movie in that box looked the same. It was a black disc with the movie written on it in gold. Well, you can't tell me that when I buy Skyfall, there's going to be a version of it I could buy that looks the same. It's not going to. Second of all, that box came with 2 books that had all the movies in it. On the back of each book, it had the names of the movies embossed on it. So you could be like, oh, these are the ones that are in here. These are the ones that are in here.
Right.
They were smart enough on the second one to put Skyfall at the bottom. Great. Except these fuckers printed on this book, Skyfall, parentheses, coming soon.
What
the fuck are you doing? Am I supposed to look at it before the movie comes out and goes, oh, that's right, it is going to come out soon? No, you fucking idiots. It's meant to be like a display collection thing. Why are you future-proofing it by telling me that the movie's not out yet? And then plus there were 2 more, so it's like the whole thing's worthless.
Stupidly bought the set they made after Skyfall.
They did fix that.
Where they fixed that, but then what does that set have? That's a problem that you're describing.
Well, there's 2 more movies.
Spectre.
Yeah.
Coming soon, Spectre.
Does it say that on that one too?
On the one I have,
shit, yeah. That's so fucked. They did it
so
again.
it's they did the same thing with that set. It's like I have that set up, sit on my shelf or whatever, and it's just like every time I look at it, I think I'm like, this is so stupid.
I hate it, and I don't know how to sell it. Who would want it?
Who would want that?
Well, I liked all the Saw movies, and they have a collector's edition of it that has all the new one and has Spiral included in it. But I went and just bought for me, I enjoyed the art on each one differently. Sure. So I bought all of them separately because I just really didn't care about the collector's edition at that point. I was like, they all look pretty wild. So I was just like, fuck.
But the problem I have is like these companies, like you can go to Walmart right now and buy an Indiana Jones 4-movie collection. Why? There's 5 movies.
Did I let me tell you the good
why would I buy,
fucked up one
really quick? Why would I go to Walmart and buy the 10 Fast movies right now? There's an 11 coming. Yeah. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
It's just like none of this makes any fucking sense.
Yeah.
Since you're talking about box set fuck ups, let me tell you about the recent one I just saw today. It's hot off the presses. Warner Brothers is putting out a new Nightmare on Elm Street box set. Fine, cool.
It doesn't include the newest one, right?
No. What Freddy did they put on the box?
The new one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucked up.
It's not even him like face on, it's his shadow. But you can clearly tell when you look at it closely that it's not Robert.
Yeah, that's
it's the other guy.
Too,
it's like,
man.
Holy shit, man! That guy made 8 fucking movies as Freddy, but you're gonna use the new guy on your box.
The problem
set?
I have with this stuff too is like collecting physical media is obviously like it's a niche thing for people like us, but I still think there's a big enough market for it. But they make it hard to collect all the time. But they make it hard for you to collect stuff. Like, what if I wanted to? Let's say, for sake of argument, I wanted to go buy every Mission Impossible movie right now separately. Am I going to be able to find each one of them separately where they look the same, or they look like they're part of a set? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I go to the store and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7, and I can never get 5 ever. You know, like it's they do that with like steelbooks. When the Bond movies were coming out, they were like Bond steelbook only at Best Buy if you're there the first 20 minutes. And then they're gone. We're not gonna make more than, I don't know, maybe 17 of these. So good luck.
Walmart lately has done a lot of steelbooks for 4K movies.
They do interesting like re-releases of stuff. But again,
Renfield.
But again,
when I saw it,
it's like weird subsets of things.
Yeah.
Or again, it's, you know, buy 4 Indiana Jones movies, or buy the Fast 10 collection, I'll give you a good one. I saw when I was at that Walmart up in Wisconsin last weekend when we were looking through their media stuff. How about a random Dark Shadows DVD? Because it's 2025, it's a DVD of like various random episodes of that show. Oh, like a weird compilation disc like they used to use?
Yeah. It's like, who is this for and who does this serve, man?
That was like, they used to do that with VHS tapes for like kids things. Yes. Like, here's 5 Power Rangers episodes that have nothing to do with each other.
No. And I looked at that thing, I'm like, who is this for?
I don't know.
Like, that's already a very niche thing that not many people know about.
Media is just, it's a weird thing to try to collect, but like.
It is.
So, but if they come out with a Mission Impossible, like the complete collection,
Yeah.
I feel safe buying that now. When Fast 11 comes out, I feel safe buying that now.
Yeah.
If I ever find an Indiana Jones 5 movie collection, I feel safe buying that. You know what I mean?
Weird that doesn't exist, though.
It doesn't. I look because it's like at that point, I think I have 1, 2, 3 on Blu-ray, but like, can't I just get them all in one box? I would just love them in one box. That's what I want. Is I just want one box. Remember when they were doing it with like Marvel? You couldn't. They were starting to do it like you could buy through like Avengers, and they did it again, and then it became too much of a pain in the ass because it's never going to end, and where are they going to do the cutoffs? But now, if I wanted to go buy those movies, I can't buy them all. I can't buy them so they look like they belong together.
No,
because if I was going to go out and buy them all, I would want them. I would put them on the shelf, like in release order.
Yeah, that's
what you would do. But like they make it hard to do that, and the MCU, as far as we know, is never fucking ending.
No,
which it really needs to. But that's a whole other discussion. Yeah. So Mission Impossible, the last movie, I would probably give it.
I said 7.
7 is fair. I would say the last one was probably a 9 for me. Fallout's a 10.
Fallout, I would say.
I also love the first one because it's very spy-y.
It's very spy and very 90s.
Yeah, very 90s. You get a lot of good flashback clips of that. But yeah, as a whole, probably 9 out of 10 franchise. Once they figured out the formula, they nailed it every time.
It took, it took a little bit, but once they did.
The only downsides of this movie, the other like major downsides is like, no, I would have loved to see a Jeremy Renner cameo. He could have been in that room. You know what I mean? Like where they had everybody was in the room. He could have easily shown up in the room because like he was running the IMF essentially. Like after Alec Baldwin died. So like no Vanessa Kirby, which is strange because she's not dead. She was a heavy player in the last one.
Yeah, that's a little weird too.
Even for her to just kind of show up, but it is what it is. It's over. We move on to Fast 11, and then we move on.
Yeah, Fast 11.
I'm going to tell you right now, as someone who loves Fast and Furious, Fast 11 is probably going to suck.
Oh God, yeah.
There's no way they can clean it up to how far it's gone.
No, it's going to be another retcon of a retcon. I can't wait to see John Cena show up.
John Cena he is not dead.
He's not dead.
No, of course not.
You didn't see him die.
No. He magically before the explosion he slides down under the car.
I guarantee he had like a release thing where like the fucking bat cycle where like the car comes apart and he floats down and he zooms out the back. I guarantee it. The man,
Roman Reigns. Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Same with everybody on the plane.
Roman Reigns and Hobbs and Shaw, dude.
Yeah,
you already got him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seth Rollins not good enough for Captain America, but good enough.
Not good enough for Captain America. You know he's good enough for the family, though.
Yeah, he could be part of the family easily. Him and Becky both show up. That's family.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So there's that.
Why don't you talk about this other movie that you watched, and you can lead into bed.
Matt and I watched a movie that we both watched, Fountain of Youth, which I'm pretty sure that was an Apple movie.
I'm pretty sure it's an Apple movie.
Right, okay.
Apple movie.
Matt, do you want to give your score first? Out of 10?
Maybe like a 5.
Okay, 5.5.
So everybody I've talked to has said 5.
It is a movie.
It felt like it was a little less than how it would feel when I watched National Treasure.
It's trying very hard to be that movie.
Very hard.
But in a more of a funny way. Like National Treasure was always kind of like funny.
Yeah.
But it was also like a not a serious thing, but like we were treasure hunters. This movie tries to just make like, hey, remember how much people like John Krasinski from The Office just being like kind of a goofy guy? We're gonna fucking ramp it up. And it's like maybe tone it back.
Yeah. Krasinski dialed to 10.
Yes.
From The Office.
Yes. I don't know if I need that.
You don't because it doesn't fit what
not when A Quiet Place exists, like
right.
He's kind of moved on from that.
Yeah,
like, Jack
really
Ryan.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird thing, and then like Natalie Portman is his sister, and they kind of
it's Natalie Portman's in it.
And wasn't he the older one?
They make it. He keeps saying like little sister a bunch, right?
Because She looks a lot older than John.
Well, I mean that's completely different, but yeah, my thing is they really made it more about them. But I feel like if you're trying to maybe make this a franchise, maybe because that would probably be the goal with anything you're making. You couldn't have found 2 other people to do it. Like we're talking about people who are in their 50s.
Yeah, and I really felt like I think since it was an Apple movie, it's like you could have really hired 2 kind of new people to just do this, and it would have been fine. Like I really felt like if you traded out Krasinski and Portman for 2 brand new people, you wouldn't have missed anything.
No, because the movie doesn't. It's not about. I don't know, they try to make it about like their relationship. I think I told Kyle too is like they talk heavily about like their dad. Our dad did this. Our dad did that. Our dad was this. He said this all the time. They don't even show that guy in a flashback like ever. No,
every flashback is Krasinski with that sundial
with
mask.
The fucking mask, but he was never with the mask. It was his dad who had the mask. So like, is he thinking he's his dad? Is it his dad? Like the whole there's so much that's not explained.
It's weird.
He has weird like dream sequences throughout the movie that tie into this like Fountain of Youth thing.
Yeah,
and it's out of place and like the pacing is weird. There's like character motivations are bizarre. We're gonna spoil a bunch of this because honestly, you don't have to watch it.
You really don't.
Her husband, right? He introduced as a huge piece of shit.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm gonna take our son. You can go to hell, kind of a thing. Yep. And then so basically, and then them finding the Fountain of Youth is like bankrolled by this rich dude, and the rich dude's like, "Oh, I can help you out," and she's like, "No, I got it." And then she gets a phone call from the husband. He's like, "I need you to take our kid, and I need you to take our kid for a year because I'm going to go work in Japan for this guy, the rich guy's like company or whatever."
Which is really strange.
He fucking flips. He just like, "Oh, never mind. Fuck the kid. I'm out of here."
Yeah, that was just like, really weird. Because like in the very beginning, he was very adamant, like, "You're never going to see the kid. He's mine."
They're in like a divorce like proceeding thing in this like fancy room, and he's like literally basically telling her to go fuck herself. The minute he goes to consult for this mystery company in Japan, fuck this kid, he's gone. I'm out.
Yeah.
Later, and I'm off to Japan. And like so then they gotta drag the kid along. And then it turns out, of course, the kid plotline is a musical genius, and wouldn't you know it, 2 of the puzzles are music based. But which, so all these other fucking incredibly rich people who could steal a painting off of a fucking sunken ship couldn't figure out the music notes. And then, of course, like when they get to like, again, we're going to spoil it. They get to the pyramids and they're trying to figure out how to move this thing. Kid just starts fucking banging on some drums, dude. Solves puzzle.
Yeah, fucking Congo in that shit. Just
also,
like, bang, bang, bang,
yeah, he's like, "Oh, I got it. Don't worry about it. Bang, 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 bang." Things solved.
And what kills me is they're like watching him do the shit. Like, nah, fam, don't be hitting shit. Like, there's traps and booby traps.
This place could explode.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing. So, like, they're inside a pyramid. Because, spoiler, the Fountain of Youth, for some reason, is in the basement of a pyramid.
Okay.
I would have thought that they would have tried to make it like, oh, it's in Florida, like all the legends have said. You know, when you were a kid, you learned about that kind of stuff. Yeah. Nah, dude. So they go to what? So they need paintings to find a Bible to go to the pyramid. Was that it? Or was there a stop in between?
So it was the paintings to get the design, like the map outline, but the map, in order to get to certain parts of the map, you had to go through this version of the Bible that's referred to as the wicked version.
Yeah, they needed the Bible, right?
But then the Bible housed like
the music
on the
notes.
Side backing, it housed the music notes,
which led into the pyramids. Yes, okay,
right. There you go.
So, but then here's another thing about the pyramid part, Matt. How fucking underground were they by the end of it? Because they go in this pyramid, and then they break through a wall, which, you know, in the thousands of years people have been studying these fucking pyramids, nobody's ever gone through this wall ever. And it's literally just like a brick wide. They go in here, they go down, they go to the end of this tunnel, they put it's like, oh, we got to get through this wall. Oh, don't worry, the gem's right here. Pop it in, move on.
Yeah.
Then they go in, and then they open up the thing. Then they go down. Then they go down again, and then they go down again.
But the last time that they go down, it's like
real fucking down.
It's fucking far.
Yeah,
like when they do
weird.
The pan out shot, it's like they're here. the bottom is here. Like, and it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But then
6,
they have to
7,
go
8,
again
9.
because then they do the circle stairs.
Yeah, and then they go back down. Like, dude,
how they fucking would have even built this is beyond me. But how far deep underground is the Fountain of Youth that they even found it in the first place?
Fucking wild, dude.
It makes no sense. And then and spoiler alert, the rich guy's the bad guy. Sorry, I ruined the whole movie. It's telegraphed. It's telegraphed pretty early on.
Yeah.
When he takes that kid to like lunch or brunch or whatever, you kind of tell something's fucked up.
Yeah.
But then and then he shoots your buddy Jim from The Office, and his blood touches the water and it heals him, but he doesn't drink it. Don't drink it. If you drink it, somebody dies. Unless, of course, you don't care about anybody and then you become all powerful. They don't really even fucking explain what it is.
No.
Oof. And then the other guy steps in, drinks it, and melts like he opened the Ark of the Covenant.
Does it play like they're trying to set off a franchise?
Oh god,
yeah. It ends that way. It ends like
at the very end. They talk about
when I saw it, I knew nothing about this movie, and then it popped up, and I was like, okay, that sounds kind of interesting. And the vibes that it gave me was like Sahara.
That's why I wanted to watch it. I love those kind of movies.
That could be okay. I like John Krasinski. Like, I could see him in that role. But if you tell me he's Goofy John Krasinski, I'm not as interested.
Oh, he's
anymore.
Almost insufferable at certain points.
Yeah, that's awful.
His sister is...
He's come so far as an actor.
Well, here's another thing that doesn't make any sense. So, his sister is a curator at this museum.
Okay.
And he needs 6 paintings to study the paintings to look for something on the back. Like, literally to look for a fucking letter written on the back.
Yeah.
It's not like a map. It's not a secret code. It's literally a fucking letter. So he's there talking to her. He's like, check, I was in Thailand doing this and that. And she's like, you only ever show up when you need something. And when she turns her back, he fucking rips a painting off the wall and steals it and runs. She works here, dude. Why can't you just be like, do me a favor, take it off the wall and just flip it around?
Yeah. That's fucked up.
I just need to put a light over it. Nothing. Okay, cool. No, he steals it.
That's fucked up.
But then because he steals it, this like Interpol cop, and maybe you could explain this to me, Matt. Why was that dude so fucking hard? That man was crazy.
He was wild, man. Like it didn't really fully get to me either. Because then at the end, okay, wait, because then we missed the plot line.
Yeah.
Because there's also the protectors that are in this movie.
Oh god, yeah.
And they they are designed to protect the Fountain of Youth to make sure you don't access it. So like at one point at the very end, the rich man is essentially trying to eliminate the cop and the Interpol team. So he's like, got his like fucking 50 cal and they're just like blasting.
Like it's like an army of bodyguards.
Yeah. And then the protectors come out of nowhere and they start destroying the rich guys, dudes. And then at one point, the protector chick who's trying to get John Krasinski this entire fucking movie.
But she's also flirting with him the whole time while she's trying to kill him. Because of course, she can't help herself.
She can't help herself because he's just so magnetic.
Yeah.
Then
that's a
at one point, they're the chick protector and the cop from Interpol who's been this hard ass fucking
who's chasing him across the fucking planet.
Everywhere, are like
because he stole a painting in the museum.
Yeah. Then he's like, "Are we on the same team?" And she's like, "I hope so." And you're like,
"So dumb." He could be removed from the movie, and it changes nothing.
Not a fucking thing.
Also, I honestly thought like there was going to be a swerve at the end where he was a protector, dude. Wouldn't that have made more sense?
Too. It made perfect. Look. When she stares at him and he stares at her, I honestly thought he was
fist bumped and moved on.
Dude, they could have done that. And I would have been like, that makes perfect sense.
It would have fit the whole thing.
I understand why he was chasing him down this entire time. But instead, they look at each other and they question each other. And I'm like, boy, that's a plot line you just completely
because doesn't he talk to her or talk to him about like, I've been chasing him since before he even stole this painting. Like, I've been following him everywhere. It would have made so much more sense. Because the whole point of the protectors is they're just supposed to be like random, regular people. To the point where, Kyle, you'll enjoy this. You know who the King Protector dude is? Stanley Tucci. He's in the movie for like 2 minutes.
I saw him in the credits of the movie.
He pops up, he hands the chick a key. And he's like, if they get to the thing, shut it down. And then so she's like, okay. So their plot is to literally like turn it off.
Okay.
Then if you don't want anyone to have it, let's be clear about this. You want no one to have it because they're not prepared for it. And you can literally turn it off. Why isn't it turned off?
Why don't you turn it off?
In the fucking first place.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. This is the kind of movie where somebody's like, I could write a National Treasure script, and they fucking shit this thing out.
I will tell you on IMDb,
10 years later,
is listed at a 5.7.
Perfect.
And the title of the first user review simply says, "It ain't no National Treasure 3."
No, it's not. I'm always upset that we'll never get National Treasure 3 because like even two is not as good as 1. It's still fun.
Yeah,
like because like their like puzzles and stuff that they have to solve to get there are far more interesting than what happens in this. Literally, the first puzzle is to get these 6 paintings, and like I told you, they each have a single letter on the back, and then they sit there for hours trying to figure out what it could possibly fucking spell.
And
what
the wild thing
6 letters possibly fucking spell?
So the wild thing is when he steals the picture from his sister's art museum, it's not even the right one.
It's not even the real one, and she knew it.
So she then knows it.
Yeah.
Then they have to go on the fucking submarine.
But so that was just played as like.
Let me ask you this, Matt. They needed a 6-letter word, and they had.
This seems worse than a 5.
They needed a 6-letter word. They had 5 of the letters. These people are masterminds, coding, all this kind of shit, whatever. There's only 26 fucking letters in the alphabet, homie. Put an A in there and mix them up. Doesn't spell anything. Put a B in there, mix them up. Doesn't spell anything. Like,
that's bad.
You could have brute forced it without the 6th painting. What other possible letter could it have been that would have spelled any other word? Because wasn't the last one V, but it ended up being W because it was Latin or whatever? I think that's what the last letter was.
But then remember, again, it was a universal language that everybody spoke.
Well, that was the music part.
Exactly. That's where the music part came into play.
But like, I'm saying, you have 5 of 6 letters. You could have brute forced it and found out that the only word it could have possibly spelled was wicked or like licked. And licked isn't going to help you. Like, it's just, it was so fucking dumb that's what it was for. And like, also, like, they need to steal 6 of these paintings. They show you them stealing 1.5 of them. We already got 4 of them. Don't worry about those.
Yeah,
they were.
I think it would have made the movie 10 times more interesting if you would have seen the rest of them.
Or if they would have had to say to steal 1 painting that had a map on the back, like the fucking National Treasure movie did.
Yeah.
There's just, it was a shot at trying to recapture that, and it just missed. It's just, I give it a 5.5 because it's tolerable and the acting is fine. Also, I hated the kid. I'm just going to be honest. Fucking hated that kid.
Kid was annoying.
He was annoying.
I didn't feel like the only people I really decently enjoyed were the 2 people that worked with Krasinski.
That, and I did like the Guardian chick, even though her motivations are weird.
Yeah.
Does she want to kill him or not? Also, how come when they get the Bible, how is the smartest way out of that building to blow a hole in the floor under where the Bible was? They're upstairs. They had to go upstairs behind the bookshelf.
Yeah.
So where does that go?
I don't know.
Is that just a sewer tunnel from the 2nd floor? Like, it's like, because then they end up in the sewers. That's how they get out of there.
Yeah.
Like, there's just, if you think, I think the problem is I'm thinking about the movie too much now. And the more I think about it, the more it just completely falls apart.
Falls apart.
Yeah.
It really does.
Apple production, yeah, you don't need to watch it.
That's our take on the Fountain of Youth, though. You're welcome, guys.
Yeah, don't watch it. No need to. Go watch National Treasure 1. Or Sahara.
Yeah,
underrated movie. Sahara's good.
Sahara, very underrated.
I saw that movie in theaters.
I did too.
R.I.P.
So yeah, on top of Fountain of Youth, I watched Sinners.
I will be watching Sinners in probably 2 days.
So I'm not going to give you much on it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm watching it
I will say it was a lot different than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
But not bad. I really enjoyed Michael Jordan's the characters he played. So like, he plays a set of twins, but you could legitimately think they are separate people with how well he plays the two of them. Okay. Personally, the movie has a lot of sexual things going on here, but it's not bad. Okay. They all fit really well.
Is it more like From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of my comparison. I heard.
What it seems like.
Because I went in thinking this was going to be a Blade type thing, and he was just going to go ham. Nope, not really. However, it still works, and I think the last 10 minutes are wild. Personally, how it ends it was done really well.
I'm very into it. Like, it's crazy how popular, how big that movie blew up. I mean, I think I've said it to you off podcast, but like, my dad, who's not into horror movies, wanted to go see it. And I told him, like, I don't think you understand, because he's looking at it from the blues music aspect.
Yeah.
And I told him, like, I don't think you understand what this movie is. It's about vampires.
So there's one scene in the middle of it that's the way it was shot was really cool. Okay. I will say it's when they first start playing like the band type concert thing, you'll see it, and how it's shot is really cool on how they did it. All in all, this movie was like a 9. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm 100% in watching it. So
was really into it. Like, and I definitely will watch it again because it was it was really good. So without giving much on that, go see Sinners. Fantastic. I did also watch Final Destination Bloodlines.
Okay.
I will say it is not that great.
Okay. I have seen the lawnmower scene like 8 times now.
Seen enough clips of everything to know everything that fucking happens in that movie.
So, do you want to know what's happening? Are you
can spoil it for me. I know.
You can talk about it. I know the entire plot of the movie.
So spoiler
alert for Bloodlines. Yeah. If you don't want
give me like 2 minutes and we can get through this. So, what happens is essentially in the very, you see what happens and how it starts in like the 1960s, 1970s.
It's a flashback.
It's flashback. The grandma of these kids that are here now goes to like this fancy rooftop bar, and of course she sees what's happening. Bar fucking was built too fast, ends up collapsing. That scene was shot pretty cool. The deaths in there were pretty cool too, I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
However, everything after was completely idiotic. Didn't really make a lot of sense.
You like the lawnmower?
It was like blah. Like really,
like the fun of those movies has always been like, okay, when is it gonna happen? How preposterous is this setup gonna be? Kind of a thing. At least from the ones I have seen. I haven't seen all. I've only seen like the first.
I will say the lawnmower scene is probably not the craziest one.
Okay, every time I see it, it makes me laugh because that's my reaction.
From what I've read, let me take a guess what the craziest one is. The MRI machine.
No,
really? Okay.
No.
Okay.
So
I've read about that.
That one seems nuts.
The MRI machine was wild. How it happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for me, I think the craziest thing that happened. So the whole bloodline aspect of it is grandma. This happens. Her husband ends up dying. She ends up becoming a recluse. She lives in like a house, very small.
Sure.
She's got like wind chimes up protecting her. Like she's got everything because she knows how death operates and he's coming for her. She knows that. She's paying attention to it. However, what happens is her granddaughter is getting flashbacks of her grandma's flashbacks.
Right. Okay.
Which is what makes her go find her grandma, because her grandma to her mom and her uncle is crazy. She's always been crazy. She's never been anything normal. They think she's insane, and they've essentially lost contact with her. So when the granddaughter finally finds the grandma's trying to explain to her, this is why you're seeing this stuff. Here's a book. Follow it. You'll understand what happens. Granddaughter's like, you're fucking crazy. I'm out. Done. Don't want to talk about it. So she's walking out of the house. The grandma is like at the front door of her house, and she's trying to tell her, please read the book. You're going to understand what I'm saying to you. Granddaughter's like, you're crazy. I don't get it. And she's like, wait, just stop right there, and and you'll see what's happening. She's like, all right, cool, whatever. She turns around. She's like, I don't get what you're trying to do. Grandma steps down like 3 steps. Crazy wind shit starts happening. Tree falls down. All of a sudden, a rod just comes flying through Grandma's face. Like,
right.
And then granddaughter's like, oh my God, I believe Grandma. Grandma wasn't crazy. And then, like, you kind of, like, she explains what's going to happen to everybody and why they should pay attention. Of course, nobody believes her. They think she's crazy. But there is a garbage truck scene that's pretty wild, too.
Okay.
And then, of course, the MRI machine was cool.
Here's a question for you that I'm trying to understand about. So the plot of it basically is Death's wiping out people that shouldn't exist because she was supposed to die.
Exactly.
Yes. Right, okay.
Correct. Grandma was supposed to die. Grandma had 2 kids. Grandma's husband was killed because of death. Grandma essentially ruined her relationship with her 2 kids because essentially she was just trying to protect them their entire life.
Right. But she's
like,
yeah. Right. But so Death is just trying to wipe out all of her descendants because none of them should exist anyway.
Correct. However, none of her descendants got wiped out this entire time because Grandma stayed alive.
She has to die first, right?
She has to die first to kill off her line.
Right.
That's essentially how it has to work.
So let me ask,
Grandma sacrificed herself, that's how everything started trickling.
Right. Okay. Let me ask you this then: do they? So at the end of the 5th one, that one, remember that turns out it was before the first one.
Right.
Okay. So that kind of set up everything there. Do they ever make any kind of thing where, like, because there were other people that would have died in this thing when she would have died that she saved.
Yeah.
Do they ever make any kind of reference that, like, the people who died in, like, 1, 2, 3, all those other ones were descendants of, like, those other people? Nope. See, that would have made it more fun.
That would have been more interesting.
And that's what I was kind of looking forward to because I knew how 5 ended. So I was like, maybe it's like a flashback tie to how everything else happened.
Wouldn't it have worked out where, like, some other random person in this restaurant that exploded was the mother of the people from 2, and Death tried to kill the people in 2, but she stopped it. And like, everything could have been tied back to that one specific event where Grandma had the one premonition, and that would have been an explanation for the entire fucking franchise, and it would have taken 10 seconds to explain.
Didn't.
Better
missed
movie.
Opportunity.
Yep, very missed opportunity.
Yeah.
It was, like I said, if you like the Final Destination, just how the things happen, it's a cool movie.
It's probably one of the better ones. Yeah,
I would have to say it's cool, one of the cool ones. However,
it's got the Tony Todd scene too, right?
Yeah. And
he ad-libbed his final lines.
So they explained that the reason he never died is because essentially he was never supposed to be there.
Okay.
Oh.
So what happened is his mom was the nightclub singer in the restaurant where everything happened. However, he was never supposed to be there because he was supposed to be babysat by somebody at that night. However, babysitter canceled. Mom had no choice but to bring him along. Grandma ended up saving him at the last minute, which is why he's still alive, but he was never in Death's arrangement.
Right.
So he never had anything to worry about.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I thought his scene was really cool. Like, his character was really dope, but
yeah.
I mean, all in all, you could watch this once and be fine.
Money.
You don't have to watch it ever again. Like, it was probably it was like a 6 out of 10. I mean, some of the MRI kill was dope. Some of the other kills are pretty cool. The lawnmower one was kind of dumb, but everything else was pretty wild. So I mean, all in all, and the last scene is like a train explosion.
Okay.
Kind of seems improbable. Like,
okay,
very much like how big of the explosion went. It just kind of didn't make any sense, to be honest with you. Like,
is it like one of those situations where it's like I'll use the end of Smile 2 as an example where it's like, we seem like we're going a little too big with this now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much so.
Where it's like, nah, I don't know what you do for a third one after what they did there.
Really, like, it kind of felt the same way. Like, it's just kind of like, okay, makes sense, but it was just too much.
So now that
created a problem.
So now that this movie's over and essentially everything in Death's plan is like cleaned up, we'll say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're gonna? This one did incredibly well, didn't it?
Incredibly well.
The highest one ever, I think. So
highest one ever.
Clearly making a new one.
Absolutely.
So I guess they just can do whatever the fuck they want now, and maybe at this point don't try to loop them all together and just have them be single stories.
I mean, we'll see. I think if they stuck to single stories, it would probably work out better. But because they ended up tying everything together from one of the last ones, it's kind of like, why didn't you try to do that with this one?
Yeah, they should have they could have closed they could have explained how all of it happened in the first place.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of like that. That's how I felt watching it. I was like, all right, like I get it, but then I was kind of also like, it was all right. It was nothing great.
Is the last thing you have on here any better than this?
It was an interesting slasher flick.
Okay,
I'll give you that much.
I have not watched it yet. I will watch it because it's an Arlstein thing. So
I've watched all the Fear Street movies on Netflix.
I watched the other ones,
and they're all okay. Like they're nothing crazy.
I liked one of them, like the '80s one. The other two, they were whatever.
This one legit felt like a slasher flick.
That's fine,
which is fine. That. I mean, it was okay. So I will say, to me, I didn't really know who the killer was.
Okay.
Which, when you did find out who it was, you were like, oh, well, that makes sense. After you kind of pieced it all together. However, the very ending, like not the very ending, but when you find out who the killer is, you kind of already know who so there are two killers in this movie, and you don't know who they are. Like, you don't find out that there are actually two of them until like one of the last few scenes. But
fair.
One of the last scenes, one of the killers ends up getting arrested.
Okay.
But then you're in your head, you're like, but there are two of them, so who's the other one? But then when you find out who the one killer is, you automatically know who the second killer is. The only thing I didn't know was there actually ends up being three killers in this movie.
Is it set in a different time period, or is it present day?
I think it's 85, actually.
It's the 80s? Okay.
Yeah.
Because of the Fear Street books, the Prom Night ones were the most popular ones. So
yeah, I feel
it makes sense that they did this.
If I remember correctly, this was set in 1988. That's what I thought.
Okay, cool. I'm into that.
It was not. Honestly, I enjoyed it. Like, it wasn't. Okay. I will say, like, you don't have to watch it. But it did feel like
I want to.
It did feel like an 80s slasher flick, and which I enjoy. Like, if you're gonna put something in that time frame, as long as it has that essential feeling,
what I would want
to it, I'm down. I'm game. And this one really did feel like it was from the 80s. It was solid. Nothing like too crazy to ream. I will say that the girl who played the main character, India Fowler, I think her name is, she did a real good job. I will say that. She did a fantastic job as like the main person in this movie. I will say, if you're going to watch it, it's an enjoyable flick. It really wasn't like terrible. I'd say it's no fountain of youth. So I will definitely say it was enjoyable.
It's like, as a kid, I grew up reading the Goosebump books, but I never took that logical step to go to Fear Street. When I got older, I just jumped and went to Stephen King books.
Yeah.
So I never read really any of those Fear Street things.
I will say that I'm
interested.
Out of everybody, I've watched all the Fear Street ones, and I would probably say this one is probably the most enjoyable one for me.
Okay.
I will say that.
Yeah, because of the three, that was whatever the 80s like camp one was, of those three was the one I liked.
I figured that would be the one that you liked the most.
The 90s one was a little too, it's not really the 90s, and the other one that was like present day I thought was kind of lame. So If I remember, we're going back a couple of years. So
the 78 one. Yeah,
78 was that the camp one? Okay,
yeah,
I like that one.
Because 1666, and then there was 1994.
1666, I want to say, was the one that was like it had some sort of illogical ending. That
was like, if I remember correctly, same thing.
Okay,
but I will say
then the 91 is whatever.
Yeah,
so.
I will say the 78 one was solid. 94 was solid. Right. The 1666 one was just kind of like. Blah.
Well, the killer in it was more of a slasher, and the killer kind of reminded me of a Jason-like character. So yeah, in the 78
this killer, I think, reminded me a lot of like Ghostface.
Okay, that makes sense for what they're going for.
Yeah. So.
Okay,
that's it. That's all I've watched.